Welcome, everyone. Thank you so much for joining today. My name is Melissa, and I'm here to lead you through yoga. We are going to practice for 45 minutes today. So just a reminder as we go through class to listen to your body. If any of the stretches don't work for you, please skip them, come on out and modify. For your practice, you'll want to have a mat to practice on, and they are not a necessity for practice, but if you'd like to have the exercise blocks and also the blanket, those are really nice props just to support you in some of the stretches. But again, you don't have to have them, but they can just be nice to assist in some of the stretches if needed. As we go through practice today, I was thinking about doing a really nice grounding practice. We'll work with some different salutations. Most common are probably the sun salutations, but I love to work a little bit with our earth salutations today. And the earth salutations are very grounding. So if the day has been feeling really hectic and chaotic, this can really help to ground the nervous system. And I really love these salutations because they're really great for our backs. So if you feel like you've been sitting a lot through the workday, it's a really nice opportunity to open up your spine. We're going to move very slowly into back bends and work with different variations. So it's really fantastic for your back and also a nice heart opening practice to get into the fronts of the shoulders, the heart space, the collarbones, because I know I catch myself, rounding forward far too much throughout the day. So it'll be nice to reverse a little bit of that. So to get started, let's come into a child's position. And for that one, your knees can be together and you can just let yourself fold over the front of your legs there. And another option, so that variation will help to open up your back. So if you know that your back is a little tight, that would be great to do. The other option is taking your big toes to touch and then bringing your knees wide and then letting yourself drop down. And this one, it will be really good for your hips and for your legs. And we're just going to give ourselves a couple moments here just to relax, to release the day so far, to connect to our body and our breath and the present moment. I'm just trying to let the body get really heavy in this pose. Maybe feel the spots where you are tense, and then just seeing if you can find a little softness, find a little ease in those areas. And then doing your breathing as best as you can. I know in child's pose, sometimes the breath is constricted, so that might be a little more challenging for you. But we'll just have you breathing as deeply and fully as you can. The Navajo teach their children that every morning when the sun comes up, it's a brand new sun. It's born each morning. It lives for the duration of one day, and in the evening it passes on, never to return again. As soon as the children are old enough to understand, the adults take them out at dawn and they say, "The sun has only one day. You must live this day in a good way so that the sun won't have wasted precious time." So acknowledging the preciousness of each day is a good way to live, a good way to reconnect with our basic joy. Feel free to set an intention for class today if you'd like. Maybe that connects to that passage that I just shared. Intention is just a goal or a desire that you have for your time on the mat today. So let's begin to make our way into tabletop position. That's right on the hands and on the knees. And we are going to work a little bit on our knees. So if you know that your knees are sensitive, maybe using that blanket to pad will be helpful. And if you don't have that, sometimes rolling the mat up on the side or even front to back can give a little extra support if you need it. So we're going to come onto the knees to start. We'll take a full breath in, bringing your hands to the sky. So this is a knee down mountain. We're going to come back to child's on the exhale. So just for a moment, we're just going to sink the hips to the heels, let the heart float down. Let the core engage. We're going to come forward into a knee down plank position. We'll take a reverse push-up down to the mat. Coming into Sphinx, let's glide our hands in front. Elbows in line with the shoulders. Maybe reach for opposite arms here. Just to make sure the elbows aren't too far from one another. And then we're gonna breathe. So this is that nice opportunity to get that nice low back opening. Feel free to stay here if you want more. Hands down, elbows up, elbows wrap in. If you'd like even more, maybe work on straightening the arms. We're gonna reach and stretch through the crown of the head. Lowering down to the mat. Let's take a nice full breath in here and then lift to a down dog as you exhale. Toes curl under, hips to the sky, also called Adho Mukha Svanasana. We are going to shake it out a little bit here. So bend one knee, then the other knee. Relax your head, yes. Relax your head, no. As you come to stillness, let's bring our knees back down to the mat. Hips to the heels, heart will soften down. And then grounding into the knees. Let's take that nice full breath in to rise on up. And then drawing your hands to your heart as you exhale. Hands sweep up, full breath in. Let's come on down, landing in that child's pose, also called Garbhasana. We're gonna come forward, knee down plank, and reverse push up to the mat. We'll work with a boat pose here. So for boat, yoga mudra in the hands, fingers interlock, palms touch, or squaring the wrists. Let's glue the pubic triangle down and then lifting from the ground as best as you can. We're going to lift the heart up. We're going to lift the legs up. And then as you're breathing here, we're just going to feel the body reacting to the breath. Feeling ourselves lifting up on the in-breath and then gently softening on the out-breath. Let's bring ourselves down to the ground. Full breath here. Let's take it back. Down dog. Now, as we take this down dog, let's try for a little side stretch. So we'll come right up onto our tippy toes as high as we can lift. And then gently drop your heels to the right. We're going to press the sitting bones up to the sky. You might feel that nice stretch through the outsides of the legs. Bring yourself back to center. Let's come up onto tippy toes, and then heels will soften to the other side. Really try to take that right hip and draw it to the sky. Get a little bit more side stretch here. Back to center. Let's come to our tippy toes, and then heels will soften down as you exhale. Knees will begin to lower. Let's take hips to heels, back into child's pose. Core engages. Let's rise up onto the knees. Full breath in. Hands at the heart. Exhale. Let's go again. That was 2 full salutations. Hands to the sky as you inhale. Come on down as you exhale. Child's pose. Float it forward, knee down plank. So rippling through the spine 1 vertebrae at a time. Lowering all the way down to the mat. Hands are going to be under the shoulders on this one. So we're going to take the tips of the fingers in line with the tops of the shoulders. Pinkies in line with the deltoids. Glue the tops of your feet down. Try to lift to your navel for this one. So we're going to take a variation of cobra, low cobra. Now, the most natural tendency is for those elbows to move out to the sides of the room. So let's hug our elbows in. Let your elbows run straight back. And almost create a little sensation like you could lift your hands from the ground. So we really want to channel that back strength, really good for our mid-back. And you might say, oh, this is so easy. I want to lift really, really high. But it's not always higher and is better in this pose because we are trying to target our mid-back muscles. So try as best as you can to lift your navel, not higher. And if you can't lift to the navel, just working towards that as a goal. Lower it down to the mat. Full breath here. Let's bring it back through down dog. Little side stretch in our down dog. Let's take that left hand to our right thigh. And then create a little sensation like you could take that left shoulder and spin it underneath your right shoulder. So almost like you could shine your heart to the sky. Reset back to down dog. We'll take right hand to left thigh. Spin yourself on the other side. Try to, even though the weight isn't even in the hands, try to keep the shoulders and the hips even. We're gonna reset back to down dog. Knees will lower, hips to heels. Let's bring it back on through to child's pose. Rising up onto the knees, inhale, hands at heart. Exhale, breathe in here. Let's sweep those hands to the sky. We're gonna bring it down for child's pose. Moving into our knee down plank position. We're gonna lower all the way down to the mat. And then this time we'll try for a king cobra pose. Hands are in line with your shoulders, and then we'll walk our hands out to the sides of the room. So maybe a foot on one side, a foot on the other side. Try to be sensitive up onto the fingertips, elbows right to the sky. We will glue the tops of the feet down and then lifting up as high as you can. So to make this one easier, hands are going to come out further to the sides of you, and then you'll keep that bend in the elbows. To make it more challenging, walk your hands in towards your body and maybe work on straightening out the arms. Let's see if we can shine the heart forward, shoulders relax from the ears. Bring yourself down to the mat. Full breath in, we're going to press it back. Downward facing dog. And then really scooping the sitting bones to the sky, finding length and space here. Knees are gonna lower. Hips to heels, child's pose. And then rising onto the knees, nice full breath in. And then hands to the heart as you exhale. Great job on those. So those were our earth salutations. Let's take dolphin. Now that the shoulders are nice and open, we can work on a little shoulder strengthening. So we're going to come down onto our elbows, reach for opposite arms, hands come out in front, fingers interlock, palms touch, or press the hands down into the mat. Toes will curl under, core engages, hips to the sky. Walk your feet towards your face. And then let's breathe here. So to experience more intensity, walk your feet closer towards your face. To make it easier, let's walk those feet away from the face. Feel the backs of your legs lengthening, sitting bones to the sky, spine lengthens, head relaxes, neck relaxes. And we will reset. Let's float our knees down to the mat. Toes will curl under, working with our toe stand to open up the bottoms of the feet. So we'll have our toes curled under. We'll sit back on our heels. If that's a bit much for the knees and the quads, you can hang out up onto the knees. So if everything's feeling okay here, let's play with our balance. We'll shift back a little bit. We'll take the hands to the sides of the body. One hand to the heart, other hand will meet it. And create a sensation of lifting from your heels. So we're really going to use our core strength. We're going to really use our focus. Sometimes I imagine that I was being drawn by a golden thread from the crown of the head. So really lifting and lengthening through the spine. Letting yourself out of this one. Let's take it into table. Tap the tops of your feet out on the mat. So we will take a nice full breath in here. Let's bring it back into down dog as you exhale. Toes to the hands. Let's come forward into a forward fold at the top of your mat. We'll take our halfway lift. Fold yourself down. Rising up. Let's inhale. And then hands to your heart as you exhale. Exhale. So we worked with our earth salutations. I would love to try the sun salutation B. So we can work with that today, and we'll work with a little flow to kind of mix it up a little bit so that it's not a super traditional sun B, but kind of holding the shape of that a little bit. So let's just start in mountain. We'll take those hands up. We're gonna feel our arms frame our ears. We'll let our palms face one another. And now we're gonna come into chair. So we'll drop our hips back and down. Sending the weight back into your heels. So let's try to feel that our toes are light and then almost feeling like our toes could lift from the ground. Come into a balancing chair. We're gonna rise up onto our tippy toes. Maybe imagining that hips are sliding down a wall, bending deeper into your knees. And to release, we're gonna take a forward fold from here. Hinge at the hips, let's dive it down. Bring yourself into a halfway lift. Plant your hands, let's come back into down dog as you exhale. Right leg, we'll reach to the sky. We're gonna take a 3-limbed dog. Take your right knee to your right tricep. Float it up and float it back. Knee into your nose. Let's round the back body. Up and back. Let's take that right knee to your left tricep. Cross it over. Up and back. Let's take a nice big step through. Runner's lunge. Begin to bend and then straighten the front leg. Now, if this is feeling easy for you, maybe take your left knee down onto the ground for support. And you can also take your hands on the blocks for support to make that a little easier as well. We want to be very mindful of our right knee. So try to feel that your right knee and right ankle are in the same line. So we have this nice alignment on that low leg. And then if you find that that knee is coming too far forward, we're just trying to bring a little bit more space between your front foot and your back foot. Straighten your front leg. Let's fold over. So we'll come into a runner stretch. And then just trying to relax your head and neck here. So we have all of these little muscles. They work so hard to hold the head up. And in a stretch like this, we can just let them relax and we can let them release. Right knee will bend. Let's take our right hand up for a twist. And then as you're twisting here on the in-breath, let's feel our spine lengthen. On the out-breath, we're gonna let our twist deepen. Letting your hand down. Let's take a minute to engage our core. We're gonna take it up to a crescent warrior. So as you align here in crescent, let's see if we can create a sensation of squaring the hips and the shoulders forward. We're gonna find some movement here. We're gonna bend into that back knee, maybe a little bend or a deeper bend to tap. We're gonna rise back up. Finding that movement with the arms, maybe taking arms into cactus, sometimes called goalpost arms. Let's bring ourselves back through to our crescent. We're gonna bring the hands down, float it to runner's lunge, left leg lifts, standing splits. Let's try for 5 crunches here. Knee to nose, we're gonna round and crunch. Send the leg up and float it back. Exhale, round. Send it up and float it back. 3 more times with the breath. Warrior one from here. We'll bring that left foot back, left heel lowers, hands reach to the sky. So let's get very grounded in our left heel. So that will help to give us a little bit more of a calf and a hamstring stretch. And very similar to crescent, we will try to square our hips and our shoulders forward. Let's take a release on those shoulders. We're going to relax our right hand down our back. Left hand helps you into a shoulder stretch. I'm going to see if we can relax those shoulders from the ears while we keep that nice deep bend in the front knee. Hands are going to reach up, full breath in, left hand lowers, right hand helps you. Feel that left hip and left shoulder come forward, right hip and right shoulder draws back. Letting that one go back, warrior one position. We're gonna float those hands down. Let's come to a runner's lunge. We're gonna step back into plank for high push-up pose. Knees can be up or down, whichever you prefer. Let's try for that up dog. We're gonna lower chaturanga. Float into upward facing dog. Open up the chest, open up the heart. Press it back. Down dog as you exhale. Left leg's gonna reach up. Left knee to left tricep. Let's try for that tap and float through. Send it up and send it back. Knee to nose, round through your back body. Up and back. Left knee to your right tricep. Up and back. Let's take it through for that runner's lunge. Begin to bend and then straighten your front leg. So you have your modifications if needed. And then as you're flowing here, maybe just taking this opportunity to really connect with your breath and your body. So linking breath and movement is one of the best ways of letting us drop into the present moment. With your exhale, feeling the legs straightening. Inhale, feeling the knee bending. Take an inhale here, exhale. Left leg will straighten, spine relaxes, head hangs heavy. Full breath in, full breath out. Left knee will bend, left hand will lift. We are going to twist. And then as you're twisting in runner's twist, let's see if we can create a little sensation of stacking and opening through the shoulders. Lowering the hand down, core engages. Let's take it to crescent. This one's also called a high lunge pose. Let's feel the core work here. So we want to feel our tailbone tuck and then feel the navel move back and up towards the spine a little bit. Finding some movement. You can always hold stillness. So just check in with your own body, see what's going to feel right for you. This can be a nice little series for strengthening the legs. I find that I'm always a little sore the next day. I'm always wondering, what was I doing? And then I remember, oh, I was doing these. So always a nice reminder that there's all of these muscles that we don't work every day. When that feels complete, let's pause back into crescent, transition to runner's lunge, and then take it to standing splits. We're gonna go for 5 crunches here. Knee to nose, rounding through the back. Float that leg up and back. Exhale, round. 3 more times. Warrior one, let's all meet there. Let's see if we can connect and drop back into the breath. We're going to feel the breath moving in and out through the nose. Shoulder stretch, left hand floats down your back. Right hand helps you into that stretch. Maybe scanning the body. Where are you holding tension? And then let that tension go as you exhale. Hands reach up, full breath in. Left hand can, or right hand can relax down rather. So we'll just draw that opposite hand down the back. Feel the shoulders settling away from the ears. And then back through, we're gonna float it to that warrior one pose. Let's bring those hands down. Runner's lunge. Let's take a forward fold. So we'll just hop our right foot to meet our left foot. Bring yourself to your halfway lift. Fold yourself down. And then chair pose. Let's come to Utkatasana. So we're gonna bend into our knees. We're gonna drop those hips back and down. And then balancing chair. Let's rise up onto our tippy toes. Try to get as high onto the toes as possible, and then bending those knees as deep as possible here. We're gonna reset to stand, so legs will straighten, and then hands release down to the heart. Let's try a different variation this time. We're gonna take those hands up, mountain, breathing deeply. Chair pose, Utkatasana. Let's come back up onto our tippy toes, balancing chair position. And then lowering your left heel. I'm gonna take that right foot, nice big step back. Let's come to a warrior two position. So in warrior two, we'll have our front heel in line with our back arch. We'll take our shoulders, have them over the hips. Feel hand reaching forward and hand reaching back. Let's bring it into reverse. We're gonna bring it up and back. Try to keep that deep bend in the front knee. So the body's natural tendency is to straighten that front leg a little bit. We're gonna come on up, core engages. Let's try lateral angle. Maybe lowering the hand down for a little bit more stretch here. And then just being mindful of not collapsing into the bottom shoulder. So we're gonna lift and lengthen a little bit. Coming on up, warrior two. Let's bring it up and back. We're gonna take reverse, down to lateral angle. And then why don't we go 3 more times here? We're gonna go back 3 times and forward. Have some freedom here to just flow at your own pace. Maybe you're going a little faster. Maybe you're hanging out in some of the stretches a little longer. Let's begin to reset. We're gonna land back into warrior two when that feels ready. Let's windmill the hands down, runner's lunge. Come on back to plank, high push-up pose. Knees up or down, chaturanga. We're gonna take an up dog here. Let's see if we can relax our shoulders away from the ears. And we'll press back. We'll come to a down dog as you exhale. Take your right leg to the sky. Let's take our knee into our nose. We're gonna do a little round and a little crunch, and then send the leg up and float it back. Exhale, round, knee to nose, up and back. Let's go one more time here, really trying to compress the front of the body. Up and back. Let's take our right foot to meet our left, grounding firmly into right foot, left leg lifts up. Knee to nose, let's round and crunch here. Float it up, float it back. 2 more times with the breath. Back on through. Let's reset to down dog when you're ready. Really draw the sitting bones up to the sky. Toes to the hands. Let's float it forward to our folds. Find your way to a half lift. Come on down for fold. Hips drop back and down for chair pose. We're going to come into Utkatasana. Rising as high up onto the tippy toes as possible. Trying to have those knees bending as deep as possible. And again, that feeling like we could gently draw the hips down a wall. We're going to lower that right foot down. Left foot takes a nice big step open. Warrior two pose. In warrior two. Let's see if we can square our hips and our shoulders off to the left side of the room. Also being mindful of the hips, that the hips are even. We don't want one hip to lift up and then one hip to dip down too much. Reverse, we're gonna float that front hand up and back. Pausing here for a moment. Lateral angle, let's come on through. Maybe extended lateral angle. And then we'll find our flow here. So back and forth. So just working through those legs, finding that strength, finding the flexibility. Connecting with the breath. So always inhaling and exhaling through the nose. Helping to keep the mind, the body calm and relaxed and at ease. And now when that feels complete, let's come back on through. We're gonna reset to warrior two. We're gonna come down to a runner's lunge. And then we'll work with a really nice hip opener here. So take your right foot to the right edge of the mat. We're gonna have both of our hands to the inside of the foot. And we're gonna work with the pose called lizard or gecko. So for this one, if you'd like to make it a little easier, sometimes bringing that left knee down will just soften the stretch a bit. You'll just wanna make sure that your right knee and right ankle are in the same line. And then whether that back knee is up or down, feel free to come down onto the forearms. Sometimes taking the forearms onto blocks are helpful. We'll just try to melt here. So I know that this pose, lizard gecko, I know that it's a lot of stretch, a lot of sensation. So just know that that's very normal. So we're just going to use our breath to work through that. And then just knowing that the pose won't last forever. We won't be in this one for too long. But as best as you can, maybe see if you can just gently open those hips a little more. So just letting the hips drop down to the mat a little more. That can really help to open up your low back. Maybe scanning the body as the jaw tense or the eyebrows tense. So just trying to find as much softness there as you can. And then when you're ready, we're gonna come on out. So left toes will curl under. Left foot will take a big step to the upper left edge of the mat. So that brings us into a fold with our legs wide. And then right foot will take a step back. So we're gonna set up for that lizard and gecko on the other side. You can have your back knee up or down, whichever you prefer. And then deciding if you want to stay up on the hands, maybe you're gonna drop down onto the forearms. Maybe forearms are gonna find some blocks here. And maybe just taking some time, closing the eyes. Dropping back into your breath, to your body, to the present moment. And creating that awareness. If the stretch feels very similar on this side to that first side that you worked on, it might feel very different one side to the next. And to release this one, let's come to table. So we'll be up on the hands. We're going to ground into our right knee, and then we'll take our left knee to meet our right knee. Circling the hips for a reset here. So maybe find small circles, maybe find larger circles. And then reverse. We'll flow in the other direction. Back to table. Sweep your feet to the right or to the left. We're going to come down into seated. And then as you come to seated, drawing the legs out wide. So we'll work with a seated fold with the legs wide. And sometimes with this one, you can walk those legs out a little more, maybe use the hands. Sometimes pressing down and just rolling forward just a little bit helps the back be a little straighter. Sometimes it's very easy to round in this one. So just create a little straightness here in the spine. Let's take our right hand to our right leg. We're going to bring our left arm up and over. Roll that left shoulder back a little bit. Right shoulder draws under slightly. And this is feeling like you could shine the heart to the sky. Core engages. Let's take left hand down, right hand lift. And then plugging that right sitting bone down. So it's going to be easy to lean and roll. So really anchor in through that sitting bone, find some length and a space here. Bringing yourself back on up. Let's fold it forward on exhale. So a full breath to lengthen. We'll take a dive down on exhale. Maybe close the eyes here. And then taking an opportunity to connect with yourself. So notice where you feel the stretch in your body, what that feels like. Breathe into that. And then we'll all experience each pose very differently. Our bodies are so different. We've been through different things. We have different movement patterns. So maybe feeling a stretch through the legs, through the low back, maybe through the back of the neck as you let your head relax, you let your head release. We'll begin to come on up, walking the hands into the body. We're going to sweep those legs together. Let's come down onto the back body. We'll take a reset and a happy baby stretch. Flex the feet, reach through the heels, and a little rock to the right, and a little rock to the left. And then really flexing the feet here, almost imagining you could stomp your foot right up on the ceiling. Soles of the feet will come together. We're going to take the knees apart here. We're going to settle into Supta Baddha Konasana stretch. If this one feels a bit much, you can always grab your blocks and gently draw them underneath the knees to lift the knees up a little bit for some support. If you would like, maybe taking the hands on the body, sometimes one hand to the navel, one to the heart or the low ribs. Another option is arms along the body and palms up. And then maybe as you're breathing here, just feeling your body reacting to the breath. Feel the navel rise as you inhale, fall as you exhale. Ribs expand as you breathe in, contract as you breathe out. Chest rises on inhale, falls on exhale. Knowing each time that you breathe, you bring life and oxygen to all of the cells throughout your body. With the help of the hands, we're going to take our knees together, knees to the chest, hug them in, gentle rock to the right and to the left. We'll bring that rocking movement into a little bit of a circular movement. So just releasing the low back down on the ground. And reverse. We'll flow in the other direction. Legs will relax. Arms will relax. And we'll come into Shavasana. We'll take some time for our relaxation pose of class. Legs are relaxing, arms are relaxing. And giving yourself this time to integrate the benefits of the practice into the mind and body. Take a moment to deepen your breath. Maybe wiggle fingers and toes. Transition to your side. We'll come into a fetal pose. Pressing up, finding your way into seated when you're ready. Drawing hands into the heart space in prayer. Closing your eyes or finding a gentle gaze. We all come to yoga for vastly different reasons. To connect to our body, our breath, each other, a greater purpose, our community. We come to connect. Yoga in Sanskrit translates to union, to join. It pieces together that which was never actually separate. Thank you so much for joining today. It's really fabulous to be here with you all. I hope that you enjoyed this grounding practice and flow. Have a wonderful evening, and I will be back with you tomorrow. I will be back for mindful stretch at 3 o'clock East Coast time. So that's our 15-minute stretching practice on the yoga mat. So hopefully I will get to see you then. Take care.